Thank you very much, Senator Lieberman. Senator Inhofe.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, let me thank both of you for the personal time you gave me, and we had a chance to go over almost everything that I would ask you today, except for one thing, which I will in just a moment. But I'll start. General Bostick, the Army Corps has done a pretty good job on the 404 permits under the Clean Water Act, and I would ask you if you would continue to try to expedite those permits as well as you can.
Senator, if confirmed, I will certainly look at the permits that are associated with the Clean Water Act and ensure that the Corps works as effectively and efficiently as possible.
That's good. And also, Senator Levin talked about the Great Lakes, and we've talked about all these waterways. Will you not forget the nation's most inland waterway that goes into Oklahoma, the Kerr-McClellan waterway?
Senator, as we've discussed, as soon as once confirmed, I will make a trip out there and ensure that I understand the issues surrounding that particular project.
Well, I would appreciate that. That's, I'm not asking for that commitment, but I would like to have you become familiar with that. Right now, we're considering the reauthorization of the highway bill. It comes from part of that, at least the highway title comes from in my committee, where I'm the ranking member. But we also have jurisdiction over the WRDA bill, the Water Resources Development Act. And do you have any idea that when we might get something from the administration on a WRDA bill?
Senator, I do not have any knowledge of when a WRDA bill might come out.
Okay, we can talk about that later. Now, Admiral Locklear, I enjoyed very much meeting your beautiful wife and two beautiful daughters, and if you guys are going to reach my number of 20, you're going to have to get very busy, as we discussed. But let me, first of all, I understand the way this goes. You are nominated by the President. You're going to have to assume the President, who is the Commander-in-Chief, his line, and this always happens. It's happened ever since I've been on here. I don't know where you really are personally, and I don't want to know. I don't want you to answer. But as far as the law of the sea treaty is concerned, you know, there are a lot of us. I've been fighting that since the Reagan administration. It hasn't really changed any. You know, to have the United Nations pay an international body, which is, sometimes they deny it, but it's the United Nations. It's royalties from offshore drilling, a body that would have we'd have one vote out of 160 and distribute funds as it sees fit to the nations it chooses. And I often wonder, you know, whatever happened to sovereignty? And I can tell you right now, the idea of handing over our offshore technology to other countries, any country who wants it, I think is unreasonable. And so there's going to be opposition to that. Now, having said that, let me get to a friendlier issue here. I remember so well, back in 1998, that was during the Clinton administration, that was when they were talking about the capability of, at that time, of North Korea, in terms of when they would have something that would be a threat to the United States. And I remember at that time General Shelton was in charge, and I wrote a letter to President Clinton and to General Shelton. How long would it be until the North Koreans have the capability of a multiple-stage rocket that they would be able to use against the United States? The answer at that time was, we had two letters. One said 3 years, the other said 5 years. 7 days later, on the 31st of August in 1998, they fired one. It was a three-stage rocket. Only two of them worked, but nonetheless, that happened. So I could take a long time and talk about how we have guessed it wrong with them over a long period of time. How confident are you in the intelligence that we're getting right now, considering that all of a sudden there's a wake-up call and the American people realize there's a threat out there? How confident are you with our intel into North Korea, and in terms of their capabilities?
Well, Senator, I have, again, I will consult, if I'm confirmed, consult with General Thurman about this important issue. I know that, I believe I understand that he has, and his predecessors have said for some time that there is a need for more intelligence and surveillance assets to be able to understand and to shape what may be the future on that critical part of the Asia Pacific. As far as the intelligence community, my sense is that we have a better understanding than we probably did in 1998 of their emerging capabilities. But it is a very close society, and it's one that we need to work very carefully with, and I will do that if I'm confirmed, with all of the intelligence agencies that can bring capabilities to bear for me to help me understand, so that I can help you understand where the shortfalls are.
Okay, well, let's stay on top of that. Well, in the last minute and a half of my time here, I'd like to renew, as I always do at these confirmation hearings, my 4 favorite programs, and would like to get your opinion. Actually 5. That would be the 1206, 1207, 1208 programs, train and equip, the SPP, that's a state partnership program, and then, of course, more important than the rest of them, or as important, is the IMET program. Would you comment on each of those 5 programs in terms relative to your support for those programs?
Yes, sir. The ones that were related, 1206, 1207, 08, and IMET, I'm fully support. I know that from my introduction thus far into what's happening in the Pacific Command today, 1206 is a critical aspect of our ability to help train and prepare our allies and partners for the counterterrorism operations, which are critical to not only their security but our security. I can tell you that from the job I'm in now in Europe and Africa, where I spend a lot of time visiting ambassadors from our U.S. ambassadors, the IMET program is essential from their perspective. It has been, over my experience, one of the most powerful tools, where it allows us to bring officers and other leaders from these other countries into our training systems, and to socialize with them, and to bring them into our value system and have them understand how we operate. Critical to the future, and I believe for the amount of money, great return on investment. Yeah,
I do too. And in your your current, I should say, position where you have naval operations in over AFRICOM, certainly those countries down there, I'm glad we got beyond the point where we thought we were doing a favor to these countries out there who are participating in this program. In fact, they're doing us a favor, because I think we need to get into the record and understand, and I'm sure you agree, that if we don't develop those relationships that are enduring through the IMET program, China will do it, other countries will do it, and so I think it's been very successful, not just in Africa. I am the ranking member on the Far Eastern, the Pacific side of the Committee on Foreign Relations, so I am concerned about continuing that program in your new assignment, and I look forward to supporting both of your nominations. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.